Alright, new topic I completely forgot about when I made a different video. It's time to talk about the second half of Dark Souls. So as you can see, I forgot to record and I killed Nito already. He did! But yeah, so common complaint. The second half of Dark Souls 1. I don't really know what to say about this one, to be honest. I feel like, let me just teleport back real quick to the Tomb of the Giants so we can discuss a little bit. Since I already beat it, I wasn't thinking. I went ahead and beat it. But I don't understand this one. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't get the complaints behind this particular aspect of Dark Souls. Can I still light roll? No, I can't, of course. So I understand that Tomb of the Giants, to an extent, is annoying. But a couple of things to keep note of. You know, I don't think the game would ever just expect you to walk through the dark like this. Like, sure, I know the layout. Whatever. I know the layout already. But I feel like a normal player should look at this and go, oh, I'm missing something. Maybe I shouldn't be here now, because otherwise, how would I get through all this? How? How would one possibly get through all this without a light source of some sort? Second of all, there's a light source right down there if you fall for Patches' little scheme, which, back when Dark Souls came out, is more likely, because Patches is iconic. We know Patches now. The good old silly goose Patches, right? But back then, you know, there's 3 items down there, all pretty useful. There's a soul, there's a skull lantern. You pull it out and you're like, hey, look at this. It's a free light. Look at that thing. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And if you kill all the fireball guys, they give you one too. That's why I have 2 of them here. So, you know, the light thing, kind of a moot point, because you can end up seeing all right anyways. And if you get the sunlight maggot, even better. I just didn't because I came here kind of early to kill Pinwheel, but look at this silly goose using Smo's hammer. This is not New Game Plus, by the way. The damage is straight from a new save, raw save. You know, and I will say the only real complaint, the only one complaint that I think is 100% justified is these skeleton dogs. See, like, it's not the areas themselves that are anything wrong. Walk on, please. Like, basically get something to one-shot them, or don't bother. Run past them. The skeleton dogs are stupid, they're way too strong, they're way too fast, they're way too annoying. Like, compared to everything else in the game, they feel like they fit in better in Dark Souls 3. Ow! Yeah, see, look how fast that was. So aside from the skeleton dogs, I mean, there's nothing really wrong with the area, for crying out loud. Just go find yourself a light source and stop complaining. Other areas in the game are just as hard for different reasons. I don't know, like, the area is annoying on paper, but I mean, once you get a light source, all the annoyance is pretty much gone. So if you go in there, in the darkness already, I feel like that's kind of your fault. I think that's kind of your fault, I'm not gonna lie. The game is clearly set up in a way to help you realize when you maybe shouldn't be somewhere yet. Like the difficult skeletons next to Firelink Shrine. You know, like when you spawn in Firelink for the first time, I don't know how anybody would just go like, oh, there's a big looking city over there, you know, let me just head towards the graveyard first. I mean, it's not the... I'm not making fun of anybody. It's an innocent little mistake. But it's one that feels weird to make. I'm literally 0.5 away from fat rolling. I am min-maxing perfectly. Look how much I need. I need Havel's Ring, the Mask of the Father, and 35 points of endurance. Just to wield Smo's hammer and a shield. And 1 piece of armor. But while I get to other areas in the game, let's just talk about the whole linearity thing. So a lot of people have to leverage the whole like, oh, these areas are linear while the rest of the game is interconnected. Which, true, but then let's take a look here at Duke's Archives real quick. Let's take a look at the Duke's Archives for a second. Yeah, I killed your boss. I just one-shot her. And my heavy attack let me duck under her thrust attack. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's incredible. You gotta love Dark Souls jank sometimes. Especially when it works in your favor. Like, look, that's Duke's Archives right there, right? Okay, cool. Duke's Archives, big building up there. Where's that supposed to connect back to? I mean, even if it did connect back somewhere, it doesn't matter. We can teleport now. Even if it did, the game has to. You can't endlessly loop everything. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work like that. It does not make sense at all. Who cares about the linearity part? It's just single areas. We're talking individual areas that are linear. That's it. I mean, heck, Anor Londo's kind of linear when you think about it. And look, we can look back over here real quick. You know, so you see the big castle. You see that staircase right down there? See that staircase? It ends at that castle. It ends there. But no one complains about Anor Londo. It's linear. It doesn't go anywhere after you're done. The painted world, I guess, but the painted world also doesn't go anywhere, so who cares? Same thing with this area here of Duke's Archives. He thinks he knows what he's doing. Boom. I said boom. I got Smo's hammer, which has worse scaling. However, it does way more damage when maxed out. Like look at this whole area. It's a big library. Libraries don't typically like just connect back into like these weird areas. Like the places we've been so far are like towns, gardens, things like that, right? Things that make sense to connect in some fashion. Okay. Okay. I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand. Please. So the linearity thing usually makes no sense. Like, as far as Nito's concerned, you're as underground as you can get. Why does it have to connect anywhere? It's a grave. The place where you fight Nito is a grave. It doesn't need to keep going anywhere. Bonk. One shot. This thing is so overpowered, I love it. In fact, for the sake of making sense, as Dark Souls is famous for doing, by the way, I don't think these areas should connect. With that said, I think it would be kind of cool if the game was structured in a way where you could kill the four lords as early as you wanted. And almost like challenge yourself, maybe get a different ending if you did. I think that'd be really cool. But with that said, I'm not like demanding it. That piece of loot right there. Can't see it, right next to the hammer. See to the right of the hammer? Top right of the hammer? That's a really stupid item to get, I will tell you that right now. I hate the process of getting that thing. That is a crossbow, I believe. That is like the 3-shot repeater crossbow. I don't know what it's called in this one, but it's stupid. Getting that is annoying. I did a crossbow build once, and I had to get that, and I wanted to die. So, yeah. I can't do the seat skip for the life of me. For the life of me, I cannot do the seat skip. I've tried so many times. And that's why when I do a challenge run, I cannot make myself do it, because it just doesn't... I can't. How are you supposed to? I did 1,000 damage! Dude, it's not even maxed out yet. Oh my goodness. I did 1,000 damage to that poor dude. I will say, this is the only part I really don't like. Forced death respawn. I really don't like that. Especially if you get cursed. I think it's kind of stupid. Should not be a thing. They could have just like made it a weird cutscene of some sort. Not sure why they forced the player to die. That's kind of stupid, because you do lose your souls. I mean, like, look how cool this area is. You can't hate any of these areas aesthetically. Aesthetically, all these areas are peak. Yes, even Lost Isola. We'll get to that. And technically speaking, the New Londo ruins aren't even second half areas. They connect back to the Valley of Drakes. You can kill the Four Kings pretty much whenever you want. Any complaints about the second half just kind of don't work on the New Londo ruins, because all those complaints are completely invalid. I mean, heck, Sif is technically a second half boss. Or at least he's intended to be. And of course, I hate to be petty in regards to the linearity aspect of this game. But everyone else will probably be petty in response, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So, are we going to sit here and say that... Oh, I thought I saw something. Are we going to sit here and say that the second half is bad because it's linear? Okay, so it's linear. But then Dark Souls 3 is apparently peak. And Lies of P. And some people say Code Vein. I don't agree, but... Are we really gonna say those games are good, even though they're completely straight linear for the most part? The whole game is linearly structured. Is that what we're doing? We're saying this game can't do it, but those games can, even though all of them arguably do it worse to an extent. Plaza P is alright, I guess. Oh no! Ah! I got stabbed. I know this sounds kind of petty of me, but to be honest, I don't care. People in the Souls community are just like that anyways, so I'll be petty in return. Dark Souls 3 will have its own content on this channel, but for the sake of comparison, apparently Dark Souls 1's not allowed to do it, but Dark Souls 3 can do it all day long, throughout the entire game. But on to more, you know, objective complaining and or praising. These areas just tell good stories. I mean, even going back to the Tomb of the Giants, you know, giant skeletons guarding Nito. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. Even Pinwheel has a really interesting story. It was interesting. And Pinwheel is intended to be second half material. So essentially the only difference between these areas and the first half is just that they don't interconnect. I mean, honestly, the difficulty is structured the exact same. I don't know why that would ever be a complaint. But people complain about it. So here I am having to talk about it. Although there are people that kind of don't care about the whole second half bad thing, I in particular kind of find issue with it because I don't get it. When I first played this game, the second half didn't really feel any different from the first half. It just didn't interconnect now. And if anything, you find the ends to all the side quests in the second half. So it's not lacking in story, it's not lacking in that danger that the game's known for. I just don't personally get it. Okay. Right here. Okay, maybe I'm just stupid. Okay. That's okay. I actually like Duke's Archives in particular, because the story is kind of obvious in comparison to a lot of other things in this game, where a lot of these new enemies you're fighting are obviously crystallized. They're the result of some kind of experiment gone wrong, or some kind of big magical breakout thing that happened. Yeah, I don't know the exact story for myself, but I'm not claiming to. Look at these guys. They fit the theme perfectly of this area. Magic, you see this big crystal thing off in the distance. Did they remove the door? Ha, the door's still up there. I don't think you can see it. And as far as difficulty is concerned, I mean, if you're going to complain about this area, you have to complain about the whole game. Because, I mean, look. I know I'm insta-killing things, but, like, come on, man. Look at, I mean, it's just a couple of enemies, a ranged attack guy. I mean, it's not really much different from the rest of the game, is it? Like, really think to yourself, is it really much worse than the rest of the game? Not really. If anything, my only complaint about the second half of the game would be that they decide to put good loot in the second half, even though by this point you're kind of already getting in on your build. It feels kind of pointless putting really good loot here. I mean, I guess because then you won't know it's here, but then by the time you get it, you might already almost be done with the game. By the time you get something really good for your own build, it could just be Gwyn left. And quite frankly, Gwyn, well, let's just say no one build in particular really works on him. I can't remember which one of these are mimics. There's a mimic in here somewhere, but... So yeah, until I get to Lost Eyes, I don't have a whole lot more to say. But, I mean, I like the second half just fine. I just don't really see the issues with it. I mean, I admit, as far as bosses go, Ornstein Smoke kind of peaks out the game, for sure. But again, like, who really cares? A lot of people think Dark Souls 3 peaks with Pontiff Sullivan. They're wrong, but a lot of people think that. I'm not talking about DLC, of course. DLC is a whole thing. Whole separate thing. So, yeah, until I actually get to a new location to look at, I mean, I just can't really argue any worse. I mean, the only thing I could really see being an issue is the boss quality going down. But, I mean, again, every Souls game has a weird mixture of these issues. To out Dark Souls 1 specifically on these things is kind of silly, bizarre, because there's nothing objectively wrong with these areas. Aside from little things like, you know, the skeleton dogs being too overpowered, the required Seath death being kind of stupid. I mean, again, does that really ruin the game, though? Is that ruining your immersion? My immersion. My immersion. I mean, heck, look at this cave. For crying out loud. Like, where was this cave supposed to connect to? Okay, so this place is on a mountain. Anarlond is way down there. Even this cave does not quite go that low. I mean, unless you, like, fell down. But, like... Yeah, not everywhere needs to connect. It just doesn't make sense to. I mean, the invisible platforms, I mean, are people... I have seen people unironically complain about these platforms, like, my dude, please don't be this dense. Look, you can clearly see the things falling on them, for crying out loud. I mean, look at it. They're splashing across the surface, for crying out loud. What do you have to complain about? Like, honestly, are we really doing this? Do they need to layer some snow on it? Is that where we're going? Okay. Is that how densely obvious they need to make it? Wait, what? Have I ever seen this? I don't think I've ever seen this. Wait, what? I don't think I've ever seen that. I genuinely don't even think I've ever seen that. I don't even care if I die now. I guess Gwyn also counts as part of the second half of the game. And I will say, if you don't parry Gwyn, he's actually a really hard boss. The whole Souls community has kind of just collectively agreed that he's easy because you can just parry him to death. But man, he's actually a really hard boss if you don't do that. Boy, he deals damage. Bro will murder you if you're not careful. First time I played the game, I was a magic build. Okay, how do you think that went? Homing Soul Mass was like pretty much the only somewhat effective strategy against that guy. Like, Seath's definitely not the most interesting boss ever. I will give you that. I will give you all that one. Seath, on the scale of interesting to interesting, is not particularly interesting. Literally all of Seath's difficulty is the fact that you can't see what he's doing most of the time. Unless you actively know to aim your camera up and look at him. And like, you know, obviously I've played this game enough times, I can tell what he's gonna do. 9 times out of 10, but he's not the most engaging boss ever. Although, when you really think and look back at it, it's almost like Dark Souls wasn't even supposed to be about bosses. Just that they were here, and they were just meant to be harder than enemies. That's kind of how the game comes up. Like, look at this. The game was even warning you about the invisible platforms. Look at this. The game was even warning you. Anyways, back to the topic. They were never, like, the most engaging thing. You know, they're usually one-on-one fights with relatively slow enemies, or kind of gang squad-y stuff like Nito. Who is Nito? Nito is Nito. At this point, I'm just kind of rambling, because I'm trying to stall until I get to Lost Island. But, yeah, I mean, I just don't get the complaining of that hard. Like, is it less interesting than the first half? Sure. But the whole thing feels like a giant world. It's not anything that's so ridiculously bad that I can't... Like, oh, the whole second half needs to be remade. I hope they never remake Dark Souls 1. That would be the worst experience on this planet. If modern From Software remade Dark Souls 1, we would all be in... we'd all be in trouble is what I'm trying to say here. Let's see just how fast Seath can die. Usually when I read Tearstone, I'm using the, I usually no-hit, I'm doing the no-hit run. So I usually use the Blacksmith's Hammer, or the Giant Blacksmith's Hammer. I have never used something quite this powerful with stats this high. I'd like to see how fast this dude goes down. And keep in mind, this hammer's not even maxed out. Come on, Seath, let's do it. Come on. So now he's gonna do the vertical beam. He's gonna break it. Boom, he breaks it. Wait for it. Go. Holy guacamole. Now he's gonna do a big roar, it's not even an attack. Also, I don't feel like running back. My experiment's done. That's okay. I'm sure there's a weapon out there that could kill him fast enough before he can even react. But I'm not gonna find it. Look at that, that was like 6 hits, 7 hits maybe. The Daughter of Chaos. Thankfully, I hit the spawn fire by accident a long time ago. Actually, I did not mean to, but I did. So I can just teleport on back there. So I will fully admit that the Demon Ruins themselves are probably the most overhated area in this game. Arguably. It's either the Demon Ruins or the Lost Islet itself. But here's what I mean. So usually the complaints you'll hear about this area are... So the biggest complaint here is, as you can see way down there, Taurus demons. Taurus demons everywhere. They just copy and pasted some Taurus demons here. For no particular reason. They just went ahead and copy-pasted those suckers. Now, while I would say yes, it's lazy from a game development standpoint, a lot of people are like, oh, they reused enemies. My brother in Christ. The Taurus demon in the demon ruins. You mean to tell me the demons are in the demon ruins? Does it not arguably make for a more interesting story to learn that one of these escaped and got up to the Undead Berg? Is that not just a more interesting story? Is it not kind of cool to learn where these guys come from instead of just slapping a random monster boss in a city that presumably doesn't have monsters like that? Because I don't know about you, but that complaint feels ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Now, the amount of Taurus demons is stupid. Why are there 7 of them in this one spot? And down here, there's just like 7 Capra demons. Just in a linear, straight... Hey, you have to fight all these guys or run past them. Pick one. That's ridiculous. That's stupid. Where they're placed may not be right. But just the fact that they're here does not automatically mean the game is suddenly lazy or bad. Their placement is lazy. But not the enemies themselves. Again, Capra, demon. Taurus, demon. They are demons. Individual ones escaped. Or maybe were placed there on purpose, I don't know. Got up to the town. May even be responsible for a lot of the deaths down there. We don't know. Just saying, we don't know. Heck, think of it as a skill check. Like, hey, you killed these guys before. Now can you kill multiple of them? Not even really back to back or anything. It's just they're just here. So yes, again, the placement is bad. But at the same time, it's not like it's unfair or anything. I mean, the amount people complain about this compared to other parts of the Souls saga is kind of ridiculous. Like, we're talking about enemies you've killed before. As you can see, I can kill them in one hit. When I was using the Demon Great Hammer, I was not killing them in one hit. I will tell you that right now. They were not dying in one hit. I only have 20 vitality. What am I even doing? What am I even doing? I am literally trolling the game. Now, I will concede that the next upcoming boss is 100% lazy, absolutely needs to be deleted from the game, and adds nothing. I don't know if they added some story to this guy just cause, but he was not supposed to exist. I know it for a fact. Like, I don't even think you'd have to consult the director himself or anything. I think it's quite evident that this next boss simply does not need to exist. He could be deleted and not a single human on this planet would miss him. Now, it'd be one thing if it was like the Capra and Taurus demon and there were multiple of them walking around. Okay, maybe. I could see that. In the main area, but this is a boss. The Demon Fire Sage is unironically a boss that exists in this game. For what purpose does he exist? Not only that, I would argue his arena is actually worse. I don't know, maybe you could fight me on that one, than the Stray Demon. The Stray Demon just makes more sense. He's like hoarding gold, it looks like. Well, this guy's not taking enough damage, considering how strong this hammer is. Also, this move is really stupid, can we all agree with that? Stray Demon and this guy both. You can literally get stun locked with that ability. It's ridiculous. Yeah, look at this attack. It's so stupid. That move is so dumb. One of the few times I will complain about a boss being unfair in this game is just that one move. You can unironically get stun locked by that attack. If the boss just feels like it. That boss 100% needs to be deleted. Not reworked, just remove it. If you want to emphasize the demon part, like the Taurus and Capra demon, you could place them back in the over area, I guess. Give them the same amount of health as the Stray Demon. But for the most part, that is the worst boss in the whole game, simply of the fact that it is not any different from the Stray Demon. Like, literally, it's like the same resistances and everything. There's not enough of a difference between him and the Stray Demon to justify his existence. So I will concede that part of the second half is stupid. I mean, heck, it looks like even the loot corresponds with these areas, which again is cool. It's thematic. The stories of these areas are cool. I don't know why people don't appreciate these areas as much as the rest of the game. They're very thematic with the bosses you fight and all that stuff. It just works. I will also admit the Centipede Demon is cool in concept. Execution, leaves a bit much to be desired in my opinion. And now we will soon approach Lost Islet, which when you think about it does technically connect back to Blighttown. Or this area does, the Demon Ruins, I guess. Again though, I will emphasize, I actually would like to see if you could have killed the Four Lords whenever you felt like it. Like, it'd be nigh impossible. So I'm not saying Lost Islet is not the worst area in the game. It is. But, actually I guess one could argue the Great Hollow is pretty bad. The Great Hollow is, not exactly fun or fair. I don't really like the Great Hollow. I don't like how much good stuff they hide around there, and how nigh impossible it is to get any of that stuff. So, You can also summon Solaire for this fight, which someone in a stream once told me. And my mind was blown. I had no idea. Of course, in this case, I think you just have to let him beat it for you. Because, as you'll see, this boss is kind of, stupid. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the design of this fight. I don't like being forced to take damage just to be on even ground with it. That's kinda stupid. Like, what was the point of me taking the damage? You're just making me waste 2 Estus Flasks. Oh no, here it comes. Bruh, come on. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, you little turd. You can't even hit it when it extends. Its hitbox doesn't even, like, count when it does that. Like, the boss itself is actually pretty good. I like the boss. I just don't like the environment. And you're forced to take up a ring slot just to traverse the environment. I leaned in so hard I was probably off the camera. So yeah, I don't really like that part of it. That part's a bit stupid. That part's a bit Dumbo. Again, boss is fine. Just kind of weird that they make you take lava damage. Solaire, my dude. Okay, here we are. Lost Islet. Okay, so. Lost Islet. On the one hand, it does feel pretty lazy. The entire area is pretty much almost exclusively copy-pasted enemies. The loot here is pretty much non-existent, or not very good. Like, I think if you wander off way to the right, you might find a soul and a blessing. What are these things called? Yeah, divine blessings. Or just one divine blessing and a soul, I think, somewhere, and that's it. Maybe a craft material. I don't remember. I think I've only ever done it twice. Like, cleared these guys out on purpose just to find the loot. On the one hand, that is kind of stupid. Look at these guys. They're just slapped around the entire environment. Like, they're just copy-pasted across the whole plains. Yes, it's lazy. Yes, it's stupid. Kind of. But at the same time, man, what the crap is it hurting you? Like, is this really affecting your experience all that much? By the time you've gotten to these guys, you're almost done with the game. Why do I not? Oh, yeah, duh. Have a ring. Like, are these guys honestly affecting your experience that much? Are you really that upset about these guys' mere existence? The dragon butt standing around? I think over there somewhere is a soul and a divine blessing. And the lava doesn't mean anything. Over there, yeah. The lava doesn't matter. You have the ring. You're protected from the lava. So the lava's non-consequential. These guys don't attack you as long as you're not stupid. They lay out a direct path for you to follow. Like, what's the deal? Who cares? Who cares about this area? It doesn't even matter. If anything, it's actually aesthetically cool. I like this area. It looks nice. It looks hellish. Which you would expect from the area where it houses the inventor of pyromancy. You would think it'd look like that. So if all these guys are removed, then you'd say the area is too bland because there's no enemies in it. Of course, these guys might as well not exist anyway. Look at this area. It looks awesome. Look at all this architecture. Like all the roots and stuff. It just looks cool. Now over here, it's just a bunch of super easy copy-pasted enemies. Like, I understand the boss run itself is terrible. Don't get me wrong. It is bad. Like, do not get it twisted. It is a terrible boss run. Also, I may not have... Oh, I don't have enough arrows to kill the boss, I don't think. That's okay. Maybe I'll just do it normally for emphasis. Like, yes, I understand this area is not particularly well designed as far as the enemies are concerned. But, like, again, look how easy these dudes are. Like, you don't even need a weapon this good to take them down easy. A normal sword will do you just fine. Look how slow they are. Like, look, like, I'm using a slow weapon on purpose. And I could still attack first. Like, are these guys honestly ruining your experience? Actually, if anything, the good loot's here and not in the lava. Which is a good thing. I actually like that. I almost actually just got killed by these things after calling them easy. I am being extra careless, though. In my defense. I'm just mashing that swing button. I'm just... Oh. I mean, for crying out loud, future Souls games are so much worse about the boss runs. Because they're actually dangerous boss runs. I would take this over the Anor Londo boss run in Dark Souls 3 any day of the week. Because your odds of getting hit are actually half decent. In this one, man, you ain't gonna get hit by these nerds. Just run past them. Like, what is the big deal? I do not understand. This boss run is fine. It's not great. Oh man, if I max out my hammer, there's so many guys that could be one-shotted. Like, it's not a great boss run, don't get me wrong, but for crying out loud, people act like it's the Antichrist. I mean, this area is so easy. If anything, the place where Sigmar is currently at is harder. So yes, transitioning into Bed of Chaos. Yes, the run back is bad, but for crying out loud, just get over it, man. It's not even dangerous. It's just a little bit of running, man. Just do it. Who gives a crap? Just freaking do it. And as for the boss itself, I'm actually going to completely unequip this, because I don't need it. As you're aware, we will not be needing it. I'm actually going to equip this, just because... Oh wait, it took away the health. Wait, hang on. This. Bed of Chaos is not a fair boss, I'll give you that. But can also be cheesed so easily that I don't quite get the amount of complaining. Actually, as a matter of fact, doing it normally is not even the worst thing ever. So you come over here. Like, it's one of those bosses that you just know you have to be missing something on. So I don't know, you just run up to this thing, you just bonk it, you just boom. Just give it a good old whack. And you come over here. Okay, I did not see that coming. Can't really hit you from here though, so just kind of do a little hoppity. Okay, that's fair. But hear me out. You get a checkpoint. Smo's hammer heals you. That's interesting fact of life. Okay. So yes, I got killed kind of unfairly. Sure. That's fair. I've not actually beat it legit in a long time. So I usually just shoot it with the bow, quit out, go back down the slide, run left, shoot it with the bow again, quit out, and then just go for the middle. But hey, guess this. So if you get that one first and still die, you get to just do this. Just run straight for the other side. And behold, we all live happily ever after. Okay. Give this thing another whack. Now all you really have to do is just make that jump again, loop back around the edge of the arena, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. This middle part can be kind of stupid. Look, even this isn't really dangerous. I mean, look, you just look down and play a maze game out of it. Okay, perfect timing, we run. Just kind of jump off this little lip. As long as you have enough health to take one attack, you should be fine. And then you literally just boop. And there you go, Bed of Chaos is dead. Sure, it's not a well-designed fight, but I mean, for crying out loud, we have worse. Demon Fire Sage. The Demon Fire Sage is worse, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, now I can one-hand the hammer. Yay. And I lost my stuff up here. I kind of want that back. So anyways, yeah, second half of Dark Souls. I honestly don't get the complaining. I really don't. It's like, sure, it's not as good, in quotation marks, but I mean, like, who cares? People act like this is some infamous drop-off point. Like, guys, it's literally just more of the game. Calm down. I don't understand what you're talking about. It's just as immersive. It's just as cool. It's just as challenging. All these areas are challenging in their own sort of ways. Enemies have more health still. Are you okay, buddy? Bro doing the shakes. But yeah, that's my little rant about the second half of the game. I don't get it. I probably never will, but that's okay. Do all the YouTube stuff. Yeet.